Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in. As I stated before in my previous video, once I reach 500 subscribers, I definitely will be doing a giveaway. I appreciate y'all support. Continue to leave a like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment below. Hello everyone, this is Straight to the Point Tech. I'm back again with another video. And for today's video, we are going to be testing a few games in Steam, of course. I know a lot of you have asked me in the past to test out a few games. You all wanted to see what was the frame rate and what was the overall outcome of cranking the settings up for specific games. So today's video, we're going to be doing that. So I'm going to be testing out a few games. Hogwarts Legacy. I'm going to be testing out Spiderman. I'm going to be testing out Silent Hill. I'm going to be testing out Stalker 2. So a few heavy duty games that require a lot, but I know again you all wanted to see what was the outcome of cranking some of the settings up on these games. So we're going to start that. We're going to do that. So definitely, without further ado, let's get straight to it. Alright, so here's Hogwarts Legacy. Now, I'm currently running the game in AI mode, which is in the MSI Center. I can show you that all in a second, but I want to show you all my in-game settings for Hogwarts Legacy. So let's check that out really quick. Okay, so currently, I'm going to show you both settings. So currently I have it in window full screen, and I'm running Intel's XeSS for upscaling. Obviously, I don't know why you want to use anything else other than that. And then I have the upscale mode set to Intel XeSS quality. So on quality mode, again, and also running this on MSI Center's AI mode, right? And then in the actual graphics options, I am setting everything to low. Now, we can set everything to medium if we want to, but for right now, we'll do low, and then I'll show you what it's like in medium. So, yeah, let's check out what kind of performance we're getting.
The librarian was on the hunt for me.
All right, so as you can see at the moment right now, so I'm using Steam's overlay. Steam rehauled their overlay recently. So most people who do these tests on YouTube, they use MSI's Afterburner. I'm not using that. I prefer Steam's overlay because you get a little bit more in-depth specs as far as, like, you know, what's going on with the in-game adjustments. So if you look at the top left where the pink color is, that's my frames per second. Now that will change depending upon, again, my in-game settings and my out-of-game settings, which is the settings that take place in MSI's center, right? So with this unique adjustment using AI mode, basically the frames per second will adjust depending upon what's going on in the game, whether I'm fighting a boss, there's a lot going on, the environments, etc., etc. So as you can see right now, you know, it's dropping between 30 frames per second, then 40, right? So again, the left number, as you can see here, which is in pink, that's the actual frames per second I'm getting, right? And then if you pay attention to the down arrow and the up arrow, right? The down arrow obviously is the low I'll get, and then the high I will get about 58 to 59 frames per second. So right now in AI mode, the game runs totally fine. Again, I believe Intel and MSI did a great job of focusing on, you know, how to tweak this the correct way. It works very well for me as well as others. I also like to crank up the settings depending on what game I'm playing. So basically, if you want to just use the actual let me turn this down. If you would like to use the actual in-game settings on the lowest medium, you can. If you want to set them to medium, you can. Just know that the actual AI mode will tweak things amongst different, I guess, segments of the game that you're in, and, you know, to your liking or whatever. Basically, however you want to, you know, do it. So yeah, that's how AI mode works, right? All right. So before we go to the next thing when it comes to adjusting the settings in Hogwarts Legacy, I want to show you all how to go to the MSI Center and basically change things up. So if I swipe my index finger up here, right, and there's multiple ways you can do it, I have it as recommended. You can type in MSI, right? Or what you can do is there is an actual button on the bottom left. I mean, excuse me, upper left. So you just select the button here, right? And then the next thing I'll do is this. So you'll see something here with these arrows, and you'll see something that says AI engine, right? As you can see here, I'm running it on AI engine, right? So being that I have it on AI engine, basically what I'm able to do again is run the game utilizing artificial intelligence, as well as adjusting and tweaking the game according to my liking, again depending upon the in-game settings. So I just wanted to show you all that. But the in-game settings and the user scenario, for lack of better words, go hand in hand. All right, so now that we're actually in the MSI settings, anyways, let's go to over to endurance mode, right? Since I want to show you all how this thing works. All right, so now we're in endurance mode. So if I minimize the screen here and then I go back to the game, right now it's running in endurance mode, which is utilized to preserve battery and everything. So right now I'm getting about 35 frames per second, 30 frames per second. So this is a more reserved setting if you want to basically make sure that, you know, your battery lasts long. Now, your battery is going to last solely dependent upon, again, what settings you have. What are you doing in the game? It's going to last basically how you have your settings adjusted in game, things like that. But this mode, to get a gist of it, endurance mode, self-explanatory. The word endurance lasts longer. Battery lasts longer in endurance mode. So yeah, just understand that. But right now we are in endurance mode. Again, but if I adjust the settings, so if I go into, let's see here, settings here, right, while we have it in endurance mode, and let's say, for example, right, I take this from quality mode to performance mode, and yeah, I take that from quality performance mode real quick. I just want to show you all, right? I've got a frames per second boost. So it's going from a little bit to the low 30s and mid 30s to about 40 frames per second, 41, you know. So as you can see here, you do have the option to adjust the settings to performance, quality, as well as the upscaling. So I wanted to just show you all that. Not my recommendation. If you're going to run endurance mode, keep everything on low, especially if you're okay with playing at 30 frames per second, right? So that's your choice. Okay, so now we're back in the MSI Center. So now we're going to hit this check mark right here, and we're going to go to manual. So I showed you AI engine and what it does. I showed you what endurance does. Now we're going to go to manual, right? Now I have everything cranked up to the max. I've got the TDP adjusters to 37, right? So 37 and 37, right? Those are the max TDP settings for the iGPU. So for those games that you know require a lot to run, you want to max this out. For me, I'm a frames per second guy, so I like to have at least 60, 50 frames per second, whatever I can get to get the visual quality from a frames per second perspective better. I'm going to crank this up to the max. Now, this does impact battery life, so let's just take a look at the game, what kind of performance we get. And I also changed the settings to medium in Hogwarts Legacy, the graphic option. So let's take a look. Okay, so as you can see, everything is on medium in the graphic options. So we'll save this, right? And again, we're running on manual mode, max TDP, right? So check this out, everyone. I'm getting a nice crispy 49 frames per second, and it looks good. Keep in mind, I turned the settings back on quality as well. So this looks good. This is playable. And you guys want to know something? It's consistent. The thing about this device, one thing that I did learn as well, is even when AI mode is off, this device has artificial intelligence and an AI chip in it. The iGPU, which is the 258 volt Intel chip, it has AI capabilities built in it without even using AI mode. So I get consistent frame rates. I can get about a good 48 to 50 frames per second, and the game still looks good. Very playable. So I just wanted to show you all that with Hogwarts Legacy, right? So let's just move on to the next game. All right, so as you all can see here, I am currently running Marvel Spider-Man Remastered. Now I have the TDP set at max, which is 37 in the MSI Center. So let's take a look at what in-game settings I currently have. So right now, as far as the in-game settings go, if I go to display and graphics, right now I have the resolution set to 1920 by 1080. Now I could push it up to 1200p. That's going to reduce the frames just a little bit, but not by too much. And then if we go over to graphics right here, as far as the preset goes, everything is set to high, right? So again, the MSI Claw 8 is still like a beast when it comes to certain games. Don't get me wrong. It's not like a weak device. Some games can be ran on high when it comes to graphics options. Some things have to be ran on medium. But at best, with medium, you can get away with a majority of the AAA titles. So as you can see, I have everything set to high right now, as far as like the graphics settings go. So let's just take a look at the frame rates we're getting. So pay attention to the top left corner, right? So you see where it says FSR 65 frames per second, 35, 34, etc., right? So I'm currently running AMD FSR, right? Now, I'm getting about 67, 71 frames per second. So I have to mention that I did turn AMD FSR on frame gen. We'll also see it without it. I'll show you guys in a second. But the low I'll get is between 34 and 37. So you all can see that. And right now, again, I'm running it in manual mode. So this is just so you all can get a feel of what Spider-Man looks like. It still looks flawless. I mean, I don't get below 60 frames per second, especially with FSR on. And I'm also running XESS as far as the upscaling quality, and this looks good. I mean, the colors look really good. This is a really, really, really optimized game, I would say, like to the best of its ability, if that makes sense. I feel like Insomniac did a great job. So this is just what Spider-Man looks like. Looks really good. Colors look good. Colors pop. 10 out of 10. Looks amazing. All right, so I'm in the graphic options, and let's just see what medium is like. Let's check it out. All right, so as you can see here, I've set it to medium, right? So the graphics preset is all on medium. So let's just take a look here to see what things are like. All right, so at medium, right? I've scaled the settings down. Still looks good. Quality still looks good. Everything still looks plush. Colors pop. I'm getting about 88 frames per second. Again, I have frame gen enabled. So yeah, I'm just still showing you all what it's like with frame generation, right? I just wanted you to all to get like a gist of what things look like at medium graphics preset, and then we'll check out AI mode and then endurance mode. Game looks flawless. All right, so we are here in the display settings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn frame generation off, right? And I did have AMD FSR 3 as far as upscaling method enabled, so please forgive me. I did say in Intel XESS, but AMD FSR 3 was available to use, so I used that. But now we're at XESS and I turned frame gen off, so let's take a look and see what it looks like now. All right, so I have AMD FSR disabled. No frame generation, y'all, right? I turned it off, and I currently have XESS enabled as the scaling method. Still looks good. I'm still getting about 68 to 70 frames per second. Again, depending on what I'm doing and where I am on the map, but the game still looks flawless without frame gen. Again, you saw me turn it off. It is currently off. I don't know why it says FSR in the top left corner, but still getting about 85 plus frames per second, maybe low 70s here and there. It just depends on what I'm doing. So I'm moving Spider-Man around for a reason, so you all can gotta get a feel. And again, like I said, this is all dependable, meaning if when I say dependable, it just depends on what's going on. I'm sure the maps where the environments are larger and there are things going on, or boss fights when there are like tons of enemies, you may get some frame drops, right? That's just common in most games. However, though, this game is optimized enough I feel like for you to continue to get about 60 frames per second at the lowest, even if, frame generation isn't enabled, or even if, like, you're on a map where things are just going crazy, you're still going to get good frames per second. So again, right now we're running the game on max TDP, which is 37, and we are running this game, excuse me, we are running this game on regular settings as far as like the display. There's no AMD FSR, there's no frame generation enabled. This is just the basic mode, so just wanted to show you all that. So what we'll do now is let's just go ahead and go to the MSI Center. So like I said, if you do have this device, all you got to do is just hit this button right here, right? And then hit the check mark. I'm pretty sure you all understand what endurance mode is, so I don't need to go over it again. Like I said, endurance is just for your battery to last longer. So what happens when you're in endurance mode, self-explanatory, y'all. Everything is completely scaled down to promote more battery life. So that means frame drops, or that means that your device is going to run the game at 30 frames per second. So just please understand that. The most important modes are manual and AI engine. So this time around, we're going to run the game on AI engine, and let's just see what happens. All right, y'all. So as you can see here, I'm running the game in what you call AI mode, right? So I told you before, AI mode is just basically going to scale the game according to frames per second, and that determines where you are in the game, like certain environments, specific bosses, boss fights, elements from the earth, etc., right? That's really like where AI shines. Basically, it scales the GPU and CPU to work around what exactly is going on. So as you can see, if you focus in the Steam overlay in the top left corner, I'm getting about average 72 frames per second, right? And then if you look to the right, it'll tell you, right, my FPS low, right? And then if you look to the farthest right, you're going to see a number with an up arrow. That is what you call my FPS medium low, as far as the Steam overlay and what I've learned, right? So you got your high, you got your low, and you got your medium low, right? So the medium low is the far right number, and then the low is 36 frames per second, and it's going to adjust again according to where I am. So for example, right, cutscenes. Right now I'm just navigating the city, showing you how things look. But certain cutscenes, it'll scale down from it'll scale down from 70 to 60 frames per second to like 30 frames per second, 40. Just depends on the scene. But as you can see here, the gameplay is still fluid. I'm still able to move around. I'm still able to do things. And the frame rate is consistent. It hasn't dropped. So that's the glory of AI mode. Like I said, AI mode, basically, from a generative perspective, it scales everything for you, right? So anything that happens in the game, whether it is environments with bosses, environments where particles and things change, the game itself will adjust according to that load, so you don't have to worry. All right, everyone. So here we have Cyberpunk 2077. Now I do have it paused for y'all, so y'all can see my quick settings. And I just want to keep it real with you, real quick. This game requires a lot to run on handhelds. It's very taxing on the handheld. So I'm going to give you the best setting options. There's no point of toying with the settings, going through and through with everything else, specifically because there's only one set of settings that you need for this game to run really well, to where it's playable and you have a decent frames per second output, okay? All right, so let's go over it. All right, so as you can see here, I'm in the settings menu and I'm under the graphics tab. Now, I have the preset set to custom, right? And the resolution scaling is set to AMD FSR3. Now, you can use Intel XeSS. However, frame generation will not be available. Just keep that in mind. I have the AMD FSR3 set to performance. I leave the sharpness at 0.50. Now you can scale this higher if you want to. It's totally up to you. And then I have frame generation currently off. We want to enable this to AMD FSR3, which is AMD FSR3 frame generation, right? So it's toggled on, right? Now, ray tracing, you want to leave it off, and you want to set all the other sets to low. So let's just go down. You want to set everything else to low. And the reason why is because, again, if you try to scale this game and use medium settings or high settings or ultra high or ray tracing, this game's going to crash. This device just doesn't have enough power to run it. So I just want to keep it 100 with you. We're going to skip toying with the settings. Like I said, we're not going to go and use AI settings or anything like that because it just isn't strong enough. However, though, manual TDP set to match will be the settings in conjunction with the settings I'm showing you all within the settings menu. So run everything on low. Everything. Alright, so now that we've got that out of the way, let's look at performance. So if you look in the top left corner, I'm getting about 76 frames per second. Now this is on a low end and it doesn't look bad at all. It looks actually really good. Now this is playable. Right now I'm using my Xbox controller. However though, looks really good. I mean really good. So in a lot of use cases, even though this is an Intel powered device, AMD FSR is very versatile amongst devices that are AMD powered, right? And NVIDIA powered. AMD FSR comes in handy a lot of the times, especially for handhelds. I believe it shines well on handhelds over actual gaming rigs. So the game looks good. I'm not having any problems. I can move my character. There's no lag. Again, this just all depends on how you have the game scaled before you play and during gameplay, right? So the game looks good, no problems here. Pay attention to the overlay in the top left corner. I'm getting about 82 frames per second. On the bottom end, I'll get 70, and on the max, I'll get about 99 frames per second. Just depends on where I am in the game, and wherever I am doesn't require a lot of GPU power, so keep that in mind. But this game runs really good. I'm not having any problems as long as I know that this device is scaled the correct way to play it. If I'm trying to have unrealistic expectations about running this game at maximum settings, it's not going to happen. Now, keep in mind, I do have the resolution also set to 900p. If I drop the resolution down to 800p, which it still looks good, I'll be getting more frames per second. So just keep that in mind. So I just want you all to know. But anyways, this is Cyberpunk 2077. So let's see here. What am I supposed to do? It says... I don't even know. I don't. I'm new to this game, but I just wanted to test this out for you all so you can kind of see what kind of performance that you could possibly get. All right, sorry, y'all. New moment. So it appears I had to pick up my cell phone and then talk to the lady. But yeah, as you can see, it's still running flawlessly. Like I said, no problems at all for a handheld, y'all. Only thing you have to do is to have success with a handheld PC. Just set the expectations for how you know this device is going to run, or any other handheld for the fact of the matter. These things are not designed to be rigs, okay? There's no dedicated GPU, there's no dedicated CPU, right? These are handheld devices, so to get the best out of them, take advantage of frame generation, take advantage of image scaling, Intel XeSS, AMD FSR, NVIDIA DLSS, if it is available. But other than that, game looks good, runs well. The LCD screen looks good, 120 hertz refresh rate, the colors pop and everything. Guys, this is an amazing device, but I just wanted to show you all the power of it if you scale it the correct way, as well as AAA titles like Cyberpunk 2077. Alright, y'all, so this concludes the video. So I wanted to say again, thank you all for the support. I know I said I would try Silent Hill 2. However, though, Silent Hill 2 doesn't have the options for scaling like Cyberpunk 2077 or any of the other games like Marvel Spiderman or Remastered or Hogwarts Legacy. Stalker 2 is still downloading in the background, so we'll do that in another video. But yeah. But again, yes, thank you all for your support. The next video is coming soon. I'll be doing more tests. Just please send me or leave me a comment rather below in the comment section of what games you'd like me to test. I have a vast library of games, so let me know what you want to see next. I mean, I can do God of War, Ragnarok, or whatever. But again, leave a like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications, leave a comment below. Let me know how you feel about this video. This is Straight to the Point Tech. I'm out. Thank you for the support. Peace.